Hello and welcome everybody to the next part of the Victoria 2 Let's Learn. In today's episode I'll be going through the Diplomacy tab and Diplomacy between nations. So let's start right now and I'll just go through this little box here and what everything here means. I'll try not to move the mouse too much because I've noticed I do this quite a lot. So I'm going to try and keep it on the down low for today. But right now in the Diplomacy tab we can see we are at peace here. If you are in a war, the flags of enemy nations you are at war against will appear here, so you can click on them to quickly go to their Diplomacy tab, which just speeds everything up a little bit. This little icon right here means we can upgrade a colony in a faraway place, and I'll go into colonies when I get into a video about colonization, but for right now I'm going to leave this as it is. Next we have crises, which again I'll probably go into in wars, but right now you can see we have no current crises. If this is glowing, it means there's a crisis. Sphere of Influence we have mentioned in the last video called Sphere of Influences, so I'm not going to cover this. And this symbol right now means that if we are a great power, basically if someone overtakes you as a great power, say you are 8th and someone overtakes you, you have a small amount of time to regain your points to become a great power again. Otherwise you'll lose that status. So, you know, if this is highlighted, you need to really try and improve these scores as quickly as possible. But now we can get on to diplomacy in general. And diplomacy in this game is all based off diplomacy points, which you can see your number here. You can see right now we gain 0.6 diplomatic points each month, and at the base we gain 0.3, but because we are a great power, we earn double that. So we earn 0.6 a month. And diplomatic points are used in every form of diplomacy, so forming alliances, increasing relations, I'm trying to think. Calling an ally, that doesn't use it. Actually, let's go to the Diplomacy tab right now, and we can have a look. So, you can see right here, we have Form Alliance, Call Ally, Military. I'll go through all these actually. So, Form Alliance means you are forming an alliance with another country. It increases relations by 100 if they accept, and you can call them in a war, and they can call you into wars. Call Ally does what it would suggest. In the middle of a war, you can call your allies. Military access means that basically you request it from another country, and if they accept, you can move your military into their country without invading them. Same with give, you can give it to someone else. Say if you're in a war and there are a lot of enemy troops in your country, you have to give your allies access to go into your country. Increase and decrease relations. War subsidies mean you will offer a country an amount of money every day in a war so that it can keep, you know, upgrading its troops, buying more troops, and basically funding the war. Declaring war and commanding units will go onto in warfare as well. But right now, if I... Where should we start? We'll go to Spain, right? Does Spain like us? Yes, okay. Now, the base of diplomacy is that everything works off a point system. So you can see if I go to Form Ally now, it says in the bottom there, that Spain's response, they will accept, it'll cost us 1 point. And if we click on this, it'll say they will accept. But on this question mark, it gives us a list of points that are for and against why they will accept. So you can see we have 54 in the green. And for a country to accept, they need to be just in the green in general, I believe. So you can see right now, political considerations, -3. That is the -3 is because of this number here, which is our relations with them. And you can see right now we're at 55, which is this is between 0 and a minus 100, minus 200 and 100 and 200, I think, around that. What else we got here? Relations, no, so that is relations. So we get an extra 13 points for that. Distance, because the further away they are, the harder it is to make them our friends. Threats, so we are a big threat to them because we are much more powerful. Our army is more powerful, and our navy is more powerful, that gives us more points. And base reluctancy is -50, and that is, all countries have a base reluctancy. So by default they'll be in the minuses, and you have to get things to increase that. And I go back into relations now, you can see we get a +13 bonus for relations at 55. Now using this here, increase relations, it uses 2 points, and depending on your technology, will increase it by an amount, normally 15 to begin with. So you can see right now, we have raised the relations between us and Spain. Our relations increased by 15, from 15 to 70. By 15 to 70. So now we're at 70. And this is the number that will greatly influence all of these decisions and if they will say yes. And another thing to note with diplomacy is after you do something with diplomacy or send out a request, it takes a couple of days for that request to then come back and to be accepted. So you can see right now, there we go, we're back. And we can make another choice. So let's say, so now if we go to, we'll go Form Alliance, Relations is plus 17 now, so it's higher than it was before. And this is the easiest way to, you know, get someone to accept if they weren't already, is to just increase relations. And again, if you want to justify a war, if they are in the negative relations to you, it is much more accepted because you are enemies. And so, you know, relations has a fairly substantial sort of effect on how diplomacy works. So this is very important to note. Now, for the rest of this video, we've covered just about all these and what they do. And for the rest of this video, we'll be going through these different tabs and this here. So right now, self-explanatory, this shows the 8 great powers in order with their prestige score, industry score, military score, total score, and you can see the numbers right here. So if two countries are very close, they might overtake each other, and this is so you can see where you are in the world. You can see right now we've got 162. So we're just a little bit behind Russia, and quite far in front of Prussia. Now underneath the country, we'll show all of the countries' countries that they have sphere of influence over. So basically that means if you attack one of these countries, all the countries that they have sphere of influence will attack you back. So you can see right now, if we go to war against the UK, we have to deal with all of this, which we don't really want to do. So that's why most people avoid fighting the UK at all costs. And you can see right now they have quite a big army as well. But it's mostly their allies that make them very threatening to fight. Now, that's it for the show Great Powers. Show wars. I'll go into this more in warfare, but this is just a list of wars that are going on right now, who they are between, what they want in return, and how the war is going. So I'm not going to cover this, but that is just a generic thing of what this panel means. And war justification, again I'll go into this in military, but if you want to declare a war on someone, you have to basically make up a reason. And this is the bar to make up a reason. And crises, again, I'll go into in warfare, but that's more of a colonization thing, or you know, to do with smaller powers and bigger powers. But crises are very dangerous if you're a big power, because you're probably going to get involved in a world war. So this tab is very important sometimes. So this is it for the 4 tabs here, and now we're going to go down to the bottom, and this is basically a nice little filter thing. So we can filter by enemies, allies, sphere of influences, regions. We can sort by prestige. This is ranking, not score. So number 1 is top. See, industry first, military first, rank first. Relations, which is, well, I should say, relations, which is the same as this number here. So you can look for the countries that you are most friendly with, and they are most likely to, you know, go into a alliance with you, as you can see here. So that's what this little thing does. You can see this is all sphere of influence, which we've talked about before. This is also sphere of influence, but there we got rankings and relations. And we've also got, you can filter by neighbours, pretty much everything you need to do. Now, in this little panel here, when you click on a nation, you can see it changes. This is just the sort of small box of everything about this country. So you can see right now we're on Austria, 5th greatest power in the world. We have 0 points with them, so we're neither hated nor friendly. They are a great power. They are an absolute monarchy. They could be also a democracy, so that's what this will mean if they are a monarchy or democracy. They are a conservative party, and if we mouse over that, it shows us their policies, which we run through in politics. And this shows their educational system. Right now they have a military-industrial complex, so they get bonus to military and industry. Again, these are their scores. Population, which is 8.87 million. And their primary cultures will go here, and accepted cultures will go down here. Right now, their primary culture is South German, and they accept no other cultures. And that about covers it for diplomacy between countries. If you've enjoyed this video, there'll be an annotation on the screen right now to take you back to the original playlist where you can pick from a list of videos I've made on this, and you can just go to whichever one you need to visit. If not, if you stay to the end of the video, you'll be redirected to the next video in the playlist, which will be about military. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the series.